Hey all, it's Aaron here from Stratos AI. I've got a few interesting AI related updates today. A lot of them revolving around HMRC, the government, and not declaring their AI use when dealing with tax affairs for the UK public, which I think is a very sneaky. So we're going to quickly dive into the very first article, which just come out today. So HMRC admits it uses AI to spy on taxpayer social media posts. That is intrusive. That is insane. So HMRC has admitted it uses AI to spy on taxpayer social media posts. The tax authority inspects the financial records of workers as well as delving into their spending habits and tax returns to look for evidence of cheating as well as posts on the internet. So let's look at this. You're an average person, you work the kind of average job, you earn an average amount, you go on very nice holidays, maybe you put up a picture of you with a flash car. Is that a case to be investigated because that lifestyle doesn't align with what the tax affairs or tax record looks like? I don't think so. Social media is full of fake people. It's full of people that put up pictures of nice holidays on the beach and in Lamborghinis and fancy stuff, but I don't think that's a case to be investigated. Let's dive a bit deeper here. It is understood this has been the case for several years, and all uses of controversial technology by the tax office are above board in terms of the law. Okay, so that's the card that they're playing. The tools used to examine social media in criminal cases exist alongside Connect, a separate IT system used by the HMRC to examine financial data for routine tax investigations. So, yeah, you're probably being spied on by the HMRC. They've got their AI bots crawling the internet, looking at various people's social media accounts. For me, I think what's happening here is a bit intrusive. Now, I know Keir Starmer went over to America not too long ago and he got pulled upon, does UK have freedom of speech? And he was like, of course we have freedom of speech, it's what we stand for, and XYZ. But it seems like day by day it is a surveillance state, especially with the Online Safety Act coming in recently. Now we have intrusive tech like this spying on us. Where does this stop? Because every few months and years there'll be something new coming out which the government introduces just to keep its population within the guide rails of society. But I think social media, I wonder if social media companies are actually complicit in this, meaning have they given access to some form of social media profiles, or is AI scanning public profiles without social media companies knowing? There's so many questions around this. I personally am not a fan of this. I just don't think, firstly, social media doesn't represent people's accurate lifestyle because nobody puts up their losses, everybody just puts up their wins. So I find this very interesting. I understand the use, which the angle they're coming from. Greater use of AI will enable our staff to spend less time on admin and more time helping taxpayers, as well as better target fraud and everything else. I understand that, but as long as it's kept for the baddies and not for the general public, which a lot of the time the technology does spill over and it will be used in the incorrect use case. But UK, we have a lot of work to do, and I don't think it's going to get any better. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's see. Another HMRC related article which I've come across, which is very interesting. So, as we already just found out, HMRC is using AI in their decisions as well when it comes to tax affairs, but this should be disclosed, meaning if an authority has come to a conclusion about you which has negative consequences for you, there should be a trail of how they reach that conclusion, because anybody can just jump to a conclusion and say you are guilty of XYZ and we're not going to show you how we got there. So they have to show. So this article discusses HMRC must disclose AI involvement in tax decisions, which I absolutely agree with. A court has ruled that HMRC must disclose if it uses AI in key decisions. I couldn't agree anymore because, of course, AI can get it wrong, and sometimes humans blindly trust AI, and whatever result it gets, we act upon that. But we need to show that AI was correct in the first instance for a case to be built. So there's many different kind of caveats and loopholes in the middle of this. So initially, which is interesting, HMRC had refused the freedom of information request from the tax experts on the ground that the information could help false claimants in a decision which was then upheld by the Information Commissioner's Office in 2024. So HMRC were actually pushing back and saying, hey, we're not going to reveal our cards, because if we reveal our cards, people can evade taxes and avoid taxes and everything else, which is interesting. Following a spate of fraudulent applications and grants made in error, HMRC has launched a crackdown on the tax credits, XYZ. So I think the key thing to take away here, to be honest, is AI is literally, it is a force for good. It's a net force for good, but it also is and can be used for intrusive purposes, and we can see the examples ahead of us. But the one thing, like I said at the start of the year, one thing I was really not on board with was the UK government not adopting AI to help its people, help society. But ever since they struck a partnership with OpenAI, they seem to be adopting AI, but they're using AI for the tax purposes. They're using AI in the prisons. I understand that. But what about AI to help the average person on the street? Me, you, our neighbors. That's where AI really will come into play, meaning increase our safety, increase our standard of living, and everything else that comes with it, and the benefits that AI can unlock. That's truly what we're yet to see. If we're just going to use AI merely to rein in society and the bad people, then what about all the good people? Because we make up probably 99.5% of the population. We live within the realms of the law. We don't do bad things. So really, they should be catering to that. But I'm sure people that are being paid at the top millions of pounds every year know what they're doing. You would think so, right? An article from CNBC, which I quite like. AI is creating new billionaires at a record pace. So growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, the term billionaire, you never really used to hear it too much because it was really reserved for the elite and people that have been around for years and companies that have been around for 50, 100, 200 years. Now, companies within literally a few years are hitting £1 billion valuations. And that's purely because of AI, because of what AI is allowing them to do and the opportunity that it unlocks as well. So we can see here the artificial intelligence boom is quickly becoming the largest wealth creation spree in recent history. That's boosted in part by blockbuster fundraising rounds this year for Anthropic, Safe, Superintelligence, OpenAI, and all the others that you can see there. Artificial intelligence startups have minted dozens of new billionaires this year, adding to an AI boom that's quickly becoming the largest wealth creation spree in recent history. There are now 498 AI unicorns or private AI companies with valuations of $1 billion or more, with a combined value of 2.7 trillion. That is insane. 2.7 trillion. You can see the value that AI is adding to the marketplace as a whole, combined with the soaring stock prices of Nvidia, Meta, Microsoft, and other publicly traded AI-related firms, along with the infrastructure companies that are building data centers. AI is creating personal wealth on a scale that makes the past two tech waves look like warm-ups. That's a very good point. The previous tech waves that we've had, so the Silicon Valley era, we've also had the tech wave of the internet as well. That was huge. It was booming. It transformed a lot. But here, it seems to be that there's much more going on. There's much more value being created in a shorter amount of time. Maybe because we now have internet intertwined in every single element of our life, paired with AI. It's probably helping that movement move it much faster. Here we go. In March, Bloomberg estimated that 4 of the largest private AI companies had created at least 15 billionaires with a combined net worth of 38 billion. That is insane. But we can see here who is who. So we have a 28-year-old there. We have the co-founder of Scale AI, which is part of this as well, David Murray. It's insane to see all the value that's been created here. Insane. It really is. I always speak to people regarding careers, the future of jobs, and how AI fits into that and how people can prepare. Maybe you've come out of university or maybe you're looking for a career change. this is a trend that I'm seeing with boots on the ground as well, being in these companies on a daily basis. For example, PwC is training junior accountants to be like managers because AI is going to be doing the entry level work. So this is one thing that I speak about a lot when it comes to our AI solutions at Stratos AI. We try to go for the low hanging fruit first and try to get that position filled with AI. So instead of having to employ 10 people, we can have one AI do that role at the kind of lower level and relocate those 10 people somewhere else in the organization. But here, like it says, the junior accountants are training to be managers because AI will do the entry level work. So now the question is, where do entry level jobs come in? And do they come in at all? Before, the traditional route is you go to college, you go to uni, and then you get an entry level job to penetrate into the industry and into the company. If those entry level jobs are all given to AI and the next step up is a manager, how is somebody that's fresh supposed to come out of uni and get straight into a manager role, a managerial role? That's a big question. I don't have the answer to it. I don't think a lot of people do have the answer to it because we're still trying to feel our way and navigate our way through this massive disruption called AI. But it is a huge concern because if we look at, for example, the amount of people that come out of college or uni, so how many university graduates are there every year in UK? Let's have a look. So, judging by this, there's around 445,000 students every single year that graduate. If there are little to no entry level jobs available, where are those 445,000 people supposed to go? They can't skip straight into a managerial role. They don't have the experience, they don't know the company, and it's just not possible. So where are they supposed to go? And if that's 445,000 a year, if you times that by a few years, we're going to have a massive backlog of students that have gone through university and no longer have those jobs to go into. That for me is super scary. I think it's probably alongside AI spinning out of control and probably killing us all. This is my next fear, which I don't think people have seen coming. I did post a video on my TikTok not too long ago covering this and it went viral, and I understand why. 445,000 students in just 1 year. Let's say 5% of them managed to get jobs. That's around 20,000 people. 20,000 people out of 445,000 is a drop in the ocean. I'm worried, and I hope we have something to navigate this really weird change that we're in the middle of. But yeah, that was just a quick one. I'm going to be diving into this HMRC issue a little bit more, providing some updates on my socials because I think it is crucial and I don't think the general public will like this, but let's see. So yeah, that was a quick brief overview of what's going on in the AI space today. As always, hope you took value and I will catch you in the next one.